This scene between Darla and Aunt Vi was everything. Let's talk about Queen Sugar. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is Queen Sugar Season 4, Episode 10, and the name of this episode is Oh Mamere. This was a really good episode, and the actual reveal in this episode blew me away. And I'm talking about Darla and Vi, and that's the last thing I'm going to talk about because they were the meat of this episode. So let me begin. The first people I'm going to talk about is Micah and Blue. We see that Micah comes over to Darla's to pick up Blue. He's taking him to this fair in New Orleans or whatever. And we can definitely see that Darla is definitely disheveled, but it gets even worse for Darla throughout this episode, and I'm going to get to her. So we see that Micah and Blue are enjoying themselves at the fair. And pretty much, Blue talks about his father and Daisha. And, Micah asks him how you feel about that. And we see that Blue is kind of sad because he really wants his mother and father to be together. And if anything, it's plainly obvious that Ralph Angel and Darla still got feelings for each other. But he pretty much tells him that, look, I know it's going to be hard. I know what it's like, but, I realized that my daddy and my mommy were actually happy even though they were dating other people. And think of it. That means you get 2 extra presents, from your mommy and from your daddy's side. So it actually works out. But he lets him know that if you need somebody to talk to or you need somebody to be there for you, call me. I will always answer for you. And I was like, it was cool seeing the 2 cousins bond like that. Micah being the big cousin, letting Blue know that he got his back. Then we actually see that what ends up happening is that Blue and Blue and Micah, forgive me y'all, are drinking lemonade, and Blue has to go to the bathroom. And he pretty much asks, do you need me to go with you? He's like, oh no, I'm a big boy. I'm like, your ass should have went with him, Micah, because all of a sudden, a lot of shit went left. Because what happened is that Blue got into the line for the men's bathroom, and the line was long, but Blue had to go. So Micah just turns away, thinking that everything's all good or whatever. And then all of a sudden, we see that Blue runs from the guy's bathroom and goes into the girl's bathroom because he can't hold it any longer, but doesn't say nothing to Micah. So what ends up happening, they both get lost. We see that that Blue is looking for Micah, and he runs into a police officer, and he tells the police officer that he's looking for his cousin Micah. And then he says, okay, won't you wait in the police car? He'll come soon. So he puts Blue in the back seat of the police car, and he says, your cousin will turn up soon. And then all of a sudden, we see that Micah is looking for Blue, and finally, Micah sees Blue in the police car, and he says, oh, that's my cousin, that's my cousin. And the cop was saying that I need to see your ID. And he's like, what do you need to see my ID for? He says that I'm the officer of the law. When I say I want to see your ID, I want to see your ID. He's like, but you have no reason to see my ID. I was just like, see, the thing is with you, Micah, I understand where you are, but see, it's this type of shit that gets us fucked up. You want to get aggressive with them. Like, they're looking for a reason and for a season to go off on your ass, and Micah was just being real hesitant. Why you need to see my ID? You don't need to see my ID, blah blah blah. And then the next thing you know, he saw that the cop grabbed his gun, and then all of a sudden, Blue was like, Micah. And then the cop was like, you know this guy? He's like, yeah, that's my cousin Micah. And then he tells him, you wait right there. So I was like, oh, damn. So this whole situation, because we know Micah has had a bad history dealing with police brutality. So every time he interacts with the police, it's always a lot of tension and it's always a lot of anger. So I think he still has a lot of unresolved issues with that, as if anybody who's been through something like that. I mean, you've definitely seen the Netflix limited series When They See Us. I mean, this is a real epidemic that is very big in the black community, especially among us black men and our relations to the police. So then also I want to talk about is the fellas, the old heads, the elders, I would say. Ralph Angel, Hollywood, and Prosper. Prosper is just smiling ear to ear about him and Miss Genevieve and how they're going steady and everything. And Hollywood is hooking up some ribs and shit. So they kind of have like a little male powwow, and it kind of goes into what Hollywood was talking about previous episode, that men need to come together and be able to honestly talk to each other, whether they break down or whatever, that we should form a group of men that actually supports each other, because we actually need each other. And I completely agree. But then Ralph Angel pretty much says that he talks about Deja, and that things are really getting heavy with them, and he's planning on going steady with her. So they kind of rooting about that. Then later on we see that Micah and Blue finally return. Blue, of course, Blue's a kid, so Blue can't hold nothing for shit. So Blue told everything, that, oh yes, I was in the back of a police car. And immediately Ralph Angel like, what the hell was you doing in the back of a police car? Kind of looking at Micah like, what the hell did you do? I'm like, oh shit, Micah, you might have kind of ruined, your future chances of taking Blue any day away by yourself. But he was saying that, yeah, me and Micah got lost, and I went to the police, and the police weren't very nice to him. But then we see that they all came together and told Micah, I know what you just experienced, but you cannot let that break you. You can't allow it to defeat you, and you can't allow it to change you. Rise up from it. Be stronger. Be determined. And I was like, see, this is exactly what we as black men need. And I'm talking all variations of black men. Straight men, straight black men, gay black men, trans black men, and trans black women. We need these type of circles where we all realize we need each other and we need to keep each other up instead of tearing each other down. So that scene gave me everything, because they all kind of rallied to support Micah in that moment, because they all probably have dealt with situations involving the police. So it was cool how they came to Micah at that moment. I thought that was really awesome. Next, yeah. Okay, first I'm gonna talk about Nova and Vi. Nova is up in Vi's diner, and Vi was like, Nova boat alone? Your ass ain't supposed to be here. And she was saying that, look, I'm still family. I know you're upset with me. You have every right to be. And I'm really sorry about what happened and all of that. I'm really sorry about what happened and everything, but I really want to make this right, and pretty much Vi let it be known. How do you think you can make it right with the fact that what you did had literally brought back pain in my bones that I had forgotten about? It has ruined my marriage. It's upset my business. It's really done a lot. And you just can't, an apology is just not going to fix that. And then Nova was like, yes, I should have actually consulted you first before I did this. And then she said, yeah, and if you did consult me and I told you no, would you have listened? And Nova didn't say shit. I'm like, she got your ass there, Nova, because Nova's hard-headed. So I was like, man, this shit is so I was like, man, this shit is crazy as hell. So I was just like, wow, this shit is a mess. So then we see that later on she runs into Charlie, Nova that is, and her and Charlie decide to go on this retreat together because, you know, Charlie's like, look, I know once in due time I'm going to be in campaign mode and there's going to be a lot going on. So I really need to take this time to just release, and it'll also give us time for us to talk. So they go on this retreat and everything. And we see at this retreat that literally Nova and Charlie, even though they're sisters, they fully don't know each other. You know, because the only time Charlie came around was in the summertime. So most of the time of the year, Charlie and Nova didn't grow up in the same house, and they also grew up in different backgrounds. So pretty much they actually had this and it's like this nature resort that they went to. So everything is in nature. You know, they have little porta potties where they have to go use the bathroom, and everything is just botanical, natural. It's just peace and in the good outdoors. So we see that what ends up happening is that forgive me, I'm getting a text here. So we see that in this scene, they start talking about their past, and we come to find out because, let's be real, Nova was vicious as hell in that book when it came to Charlie. Like, you can definitely tell there's some inner anger or some past aggression that led her to write that shit about Charlie, and it came out in that scene where they were like in the little hut together. And she says that, you know, we never really spent the night with each other, you know, since we were kids. But Nova says, well, the last time we did, when we, you know, you were in high school and I was in college at Tulane, I came up to spend time with you and your mother, and you know, you were adamant about me staying in the guest room. And then she talks about, we went to this party, and pretty much you told me, whatever you do, just fit in. And of course Nova felt some kind of way about that, because in this party, all the people in there were, you know, came from elite families. She said the people in there looked like they walked out of a Ralph Lauren ad. And I felt completely out of place, and here you were hanging out with your friends and I was by myself. And then I overheard you when one of your friends asked, is that girl your sister? And she says, well, she's actually my half-sister, but she's alright. And I was like, damn. And then Charlie was like, I don't even remember saying that. But I'm like, it just goes to show that that tension between them started at that moment, because Nova felt, and she lets it be known, I've always felt small compared to you. And then you will always take me places that you know I couldn't afford. But then Charlie was like, but I was treating you. And she says, it didn't feel that way to me. It felt like you were always trying to hold your status over me, or hold your riches and your privilege over me. So in this moment, they said that, wow, it's finally come to realization that after all this time, we really don't know each other. So that was a very revealing scene right there, because I was like, wow, that shit was crazy. Oh yeah, so I talked about... Oh yes, and then we also got a scene with Anvi and Joaquin. Remember, Joaquin was the guy that vandalized the diner, and now he's working there to pay it off. And you know, we see that he's still trying to connect with Vi. Vi is having the hardest time, you know, with her you know, pretty much with her new watch or whatever. And Joaquin helps her to fix it and everything. And she tells him thank you, and we see that it actually makes him smile. So he's happy that he's now starting to somewhat bond with Aunt Vi, because Aunt Vi is just got this hard exterior up, but we know that Joaquin is actually a good kid, and he's gonna melt her, you know. And we definitely see that the two of them coming together, you know, slowly but surely, and she's kind of letting her guard down with him. And we see that it actually makes him happy because she told him thank you, because he did help her with her stopwatch because she was going to go jog. Now, while she's jogging, she runs into somebody, and I'm going to get to that. Now, let me go back to Darla. Now, after Blue and Micah leave to go to the fair, Darla gets a call from her mother, and she talks about a school friend back in D.C. that she went to college with. She's in town, and she was saying that, yeah, you should meet up with her. And the mom was like, yeah. And then, like, Darla was like, yeah, Mom, you always did like her. But Darla didn't want to have no parts with it. But then she finally, you know, gives in and tells her mother to give her the address. She meets up with her friend, and let me tell you, this girl was not really Darla's friend, especially after all was revealed, because they were talking about, and her friend still doing the same shit that she was doing in college, turning up and getting wild and getting loose and shit. And pretty much Darla's like, well, I really don't do that anymore, you know, my life has changed and all of that. But then she starts talking about the night that Blue was conceived, and she reveals a lot of shit. And once she revealed all this crap, and I was like, man, if Darla's mother knew the truth, she will be beating the shit out of you. Because here it is, she reveals that, oh yeah, you know, at that party, we had such a bomb time, and then Darla was like, well, I can barely remember most of it. I mean, I was so messed up. And she's like, oh yeah, you were so messed up. And, you know, the guy that held the party, Thomas Crane, you guys started making out, and y'all started doing all this sexual stuff with each other. We videotaped it, and we just got our life watching you guys. And then next thing you know, we saw Chase Livingston come through, and he took you in the bathroom. And Darla was like, Chase Livingston? I don't even remember him being there. And she was like, oh yeah, girl, you was just having the time of your life, girl. They took you in the bathroom. He took you in the bathroom, and y'all were in there for hours, and we were just so turned up. It was everything. And I'm like, you dumb, get high, trifling bitch. This girl literally was being raped, and you found it entertaining, and you were supposed to be her friend and have her back, but you were just as fucked up, and we're cheering it on even though she got raped. And you know she got raped, and you still thinking that it was a damn good time. I'm like, yeah, her friend need her ass whooped, because that is what sent Darla over the edge. She literally ran out the place and told her, I gotta go get my son. Darla started spiraling out of control, to the point the next thing you know, she goes into another bar, and she just starts taking shots back to back of the brown liquor. Now, you know that brown will knock you on your ass. So, next thing you know, we see Aunt Vi is jogging, getting her cardio on. And next thing you know, she runs into Darla. Darla is completely fucked up. She is drunk, talking outside of her head, saying, I'm trying to find Blue. Where's Blue? And Blue is supposed to be here. And Aunt Vi was like, at first she was resistant to Vi, but Vi was like, honey, you need to calm down, honey. Blue's not here. Blue's at that fair with Micah in New Orleans. He's not here, honey. Like, what's going on? We need to talk. And, at first she was resistant, but she finally takes Darla home or whatever. And her and Vi literally have a conversation. And you would think these were the two that you would never see in a situation like this, because, since that whole situation about Blue not being Ralph Angel's biological son, Vi has literally has barely given Darla the type of day. But seeing that Darla is in this bad state and that obvious she relapsed, something had to go down for her to do that, because she said, you've been doing so well. You have been a good mother to Blue. You have really taken your sobriety seriously. And for something like this to happen, something had to happen. And she lets her know about her friend and about that party or whatever. And she pretty much saying that I don't even remember it happening. It just did something to me. And Vi completely connected with her because Vi also revealed that she was also raped by Jimmy Dale, her ex-husband. And I was like, see, this is the reason why this whole situation with Jimmy Dale was so traumatic for her. Because not only was he physically assaulting her, he was also sexually assaulting her as well. And she says it don't matter if it's your husband or your boyfriend, unless it's consensual, it's a no. And you don't even remember this. You were raped. This was rape. And we see that Ralph Angel gets a call from Aunt Vi, and Aunt Vi tells him, you need to get over to Darla's right now. She has relapsed and you need to get over here. And then we see that later on he does come over, and we see that he literally missed 2 calls from Daisha because he was supposed to go on a date with her. Pretty much he sits there and, Darla kind of reveals to him, but we can see it was so hard for her to get it out because the trauma was just too hard to admit that she was actually raped. And that's how Blue was conceived. He was conceived through a rape. And I'm like, wow. So either that dude, Thomas Crane, who had the party, or Chase Livingston is Blue's biological father. One of those guys. And yeah, so if anything, this definitely throws, Ralph Angel upside down, because here it was, he's talking about being exclusive with Daisha, but yet, here it is, he realizes this whole time he'd been mad at her about her being at that party and her having sex, but now he realizes that it wasn't consensual sex. She was actually taken advantage of because she was inebriated. So now this has literally thrown everything upside down for Ralph Angel. But we can definitely see that the chemistry between Ralph Angel and Darla is even more apparent now than ever before. They still have feelings for one another, but their love is complicated. But then again, so is life. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But this was a very heavy episode. And I think we got 3 more episodes left after this. So, and then definitely Greenleaf is coming back. So I can't wait for Greenleaf. I will be reviewing it for those who are watching this video. So definitely check out my Greenleaf reviews. But that's what I have, y'all. Again, if I missed anything, get down in those comments and let me know what you think. Subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of Queen Sugar. So until next time, everybody, take care.